Let's be honest here. Politics is complicated. Sometimes, no matter how much we try to make heads or tails of it, there will always be things we can never seem to draw conclusions about. A lot of the times we get frustrated with politicians, not because they're being overtly emotional or pulling statistics from thin air, simply because we have no idea what they are talking about in the first place. But vague meaning is not always simply a consequence of trying to explain a complicated process. Sometimes, it's beneficial to not be fully understood. The cowardly lion is afraid of speaking the truth, and gets his words in knots trying to avoid it, making what he really means ambiguous. Ambiguity occurs when, such is the rich vocabulary of the English language, a single word can be interpreted in many different ways. Of course, this happens naturally in language all the time. But it can also be used deliberately to mislead. Additionally, being ambiguous means politicians can say things without technically being wrong, so if they are later put under scrutiny, it is harder to convict them of anything. "Mr. Lion," said the police officer, "why will we not pay your parking fine?" "Because," said the lion, "the sign said, 'Fine for parking here,' which I interpreted as, 'It was fine to park here.'" On the other end of the spectrum, we have words that stand for very specific, complex things, like ideologies, which are simplified so they can be used more conveniently. What exactly do fascism and democracy mean? We don't know. All we know is that democracy is good and fascism is bad. That's why you get places like North Korea calling themselves the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Let's take an example from George Orwell. Rather than justifying a totalitarian state by saying, "I believe killing anyone who disagrees with me is A-OK," you would say,
"While freely conceding that the regime exhibits certain features which the humanitarian may be inclined to deplore, we must, I think, agree that a certain curtailment of the right to political opposition is unavoidable concomitant of transitional periods."
Uncertainty is the most desired position for politics, because it lingers. If something is undeniable, it means it is out of the picture, not for debate. And because politics is basically nothing but a debate, a process of choosing your options, it helps if those options are vague rather than concrete. Politicians never killed anyone, only pacified them.
Pacification.
Now, of course, nobody's suggesting the outcome of the referendum is going to result in mass genocide, but it's worthwhile remembering. If you're getting confused by what a politician is saying, it may not always be your fault. They may well be doing it on purpose. Everything about the Scottish Parliament, from the architecture, to the voting system, to even the layout of the debating chamber, was made to appear as different from Westminster as possible. But at the end of the day, it's a parliament like all others in the Western world, and, independent or not, Scotland wouldn't be escaping from the usual political jargon, lies or ridiculousness that come with all parliaments. Ridiculousness like this.
It's very nice to see you. Take care. That was a disaster. Well, just... Okay. Should never have put me with up with that woman. Whose idea was that?
Well, all due respect in the most unparliamentary language. Fuck you, Deputy Stagg. Fuck you. I apologise now for my use of unparliamentary language.
Well, tell me, what's the context? And if it's out of context, what is the context? You're not saying anything,
Olivia Gondak that says that I want to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You're munted, mate. You're never going to make it. You've got that gay red top on there.
What is the right context? I'm asking you. Can I ask you how it's been taken out of context? No. Nothing else to say, Tony? Okay. Just turn the cameras off.